Good evening and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for round 16 of the season here at Russia in Sochi. And it's a familiar face who lines up on pole position. Hyperz takes the pole with an absolutely fantastic lap in a very wet Russian qualifying session. Kevin out of nowhere in second place in the Alfa Romeo as a Foton lines up in third. He's our championship leader, don't forget. Leopard is in fourth alongside a new driver, Leonard, who looks very quick and will be one to watch out for. Napadovsky lines up in sixth alongside Curly and Lehman as Kalsifer and Mark lead the battle for best of the rest as they round out the top 10. Jake and Matthias are 11th and 12th with Krusix and Zones at 13th and 14th as Shad and Frenson round out the grid. In the Drivers' Championship, Foton leads with 217 points, 47 ahead of Hyperz, who is ahead of Napadovsky. Formula Danny's in 4th ahead of Lehman and Mark. Matthias is in 7th ahead of Hayes, Nameless and Ethnic TRN.
And in the Constructors' Championship, we have still Russell leading with 248 points, followed by Mercedes with 195 points. And third, there's Red Bull 83, 30 points behind Mercedes. In fourth, we have Williams with 136 points. In fifth, there's Ferrari. Then we have Alfa Romeo, McLaren, Renault, Haas in ninth place. And last but not least, again, Racing Point with 65 points.
After a race ban last time out at Singapore, Hyperz wasn't able to collect any points, and Foton maximized his potential, taking all the points available. Hyperz back, and he is back on pole. He'll be looking for a clean race. He wants no shenanigans into turn 1 as he looks to close that gap back into Foton. The championship is not over yet, but Hyperz needs a near perfect run to complete the season. We await the 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. It's a good start from Hyperz, but it's an even better start from Kevin, who tugs right in behind Hyperz as we make our way down the long straight into turn 1. Keep an eye on the Foton. He's looking for the outside of Kevin into 2. He'll get squeezed a little wide, but he's got the inside for 3. And now as we see the Williams battling with the Red Bull of Napadovsky back behind Kevin, he's got the inside for 4, and he'll take a look, but Foton tries to hold it around the outside, and indeed he will. Foton up into second place as we see the Renault of that is Leonard looking at the inside of Napadovsky side by side now as they make their way through the kink of 6 and into 7 is still Hyperz from Foton, from Kevin, Leopard, Lehman, Napadovsky, Leonard, and then Curly. And this is going to be a perfect opportunity now. Foton will look defensive. Kevin goes one way, he goes the other. Now the outside into turn 2. He'll get forced out wide, and Foton will hold on to second place for now. And now Leopard joins right back into this battle, but I don't actually think Leopard will have a go. I think he'll just try to stick with Kevin as Kevin locks up. He loses the back end temporarily as Matthias picks up a time penalty. And now Leopard looks down the inside into turn 5. Side by side they go. And I think Leopard's picked this one up. And Lehman actually is going to follow through, and that's Kevin's race going from bad to worse. However, Kevin still has the inside as Lehman looks for the outside. And now Napadovsky joining in. He is going down the inside of Kevin, and Kevin's race just dropping down the order so quickly as he tries to battle with every driver over each position.
Curly is battling his teammate Leonard, going around the outside, and I think, yes, he made it. He's now in 7th place.
Napadovsky right on the tail of Kevin as we make our way onto the back straight. Krusix retires from the session, but Napadovsky is going to look for the inside of 12. He's now on the outside of 413. He's going to hold it round the outside, but is there anything Kevin can say about this? Oh, there's a little bit of contact between the two as Kevin now has the inside as we make our way into 15 and 16. Kevin with the inside for 16. He taps the wall. That's going to cost him. And now Curly's going to have a go as well. Down the inside we go into turn turn 17. And Ballas Kevin, once again, instead of losing one position, he ends up losing two. But take a look, Napadovsky in the Red Bull, right up the chuff of the Williams driver. He'll have a look for the inside, and he'll dive it down the inside. Lehman runs wide. He ends up cutting the corner a bit. Napadovsky putting the power on. Where is Lehman? He's making his way through the kink of one. And there's Napadovsky up ahead. So the undercut has not worked for Lehman. Meanwhile, Hyperz right on the tail of Calcifer. Onto the back straight. He'll open up DRS. Got very close there as Calcifer tried to move out of the way. But Hyperz will pick up 5th place. Actually, though, Calcifer's looking to battle this one. He's going to hold it down the inside and no contact. Hyperz moves back across a little bit aggressively, but he holds on to 4th place. As actually Napadovsky just made the move onto Foton into said chicane. And that's Foton down into 7th, or what will become... Oh, Hyperz! Did Calcifer do something? That is my question. Or has Hyperz made a mistake on his own? And Hyperz is into the pits. Oh, could you feel any worse for him?
Oh, no, he retired.
Oh, no words.
I just
I'm
wanted
speechless.
to take a look at the drivers behind Napadovsky, and then suddenly a Mercedes was standing not in the right direction.
Foton, and speaking of Foton, he's going to look for the inside heading into a turn 2, and he'll make the move stick as well. Speaking of this battle, Napadovsky down the inside into 12. Foton will slot in behind as they make their way into turns 13 and 14. To these 4, that's front wing flying from Curly, I believe. Feed out behind Leonard is going to be close. Let's just stick on board. Foton battling with Napadovsky up ahead. He takes the lead as Leopard will slot into 6th place. But Leopard, he's already got past zones down the back straight. Now Kevin picks up his 3rd time penalty off the race as Leopard looks for the outside down the start-finish straight, and he will pick up a 4th place. Ballas Kevin picks up another time penalty, and Leopard down the inside.
Yeah.
Here we go, Leopard right on the tail. He's got DRS, so does Leopard, so does Napadovsky. Napadovsky's going for a move onto Foton. Leopard wants to go on all of them. He'll take one. He'll take a 2. 2 in a 1.
No
and
way.
Leopard, he takes the lead of the Russia Grand Prix. And he'll take it away from Napadovsky on home soil. Lehman picks up a 3-second time penalty. But it's all about Leopard.
Would be some of like.
Let's hold that thought. Foton diving down the inside into turn 2. And he makes it... Yeah, as you mentioned, Napadovsky is going to get the better run, and he'll reclaim 2nd position. Let's ride on board with Mark as well, because he's right on the tail of Curly. Don't forget, Curly with that front wing damage as Ballas Kevin picks up his 3rd time penalty. Mark looking for the outside into turn 10, and he'll make it work. Mark up into 7th place, and still 3-way battle.
Foton is trying it again on Napadovsky into the 2nd corner, and he gets past even before. No, he has to fight a little bit through the corner, but then he gets past Napadovsky. He has even 2.
Oh, okay. But anyway, Mark diving down the inside into turn 2, and he'll do it nice and easily on. This would be a 2-way battle for the lead, without a doubt. But Napadovsky, he's having a look at Foton, penultimate lap of the race, down the inside into turns 13. He will go, and he'll pick up the position as well. But Foton, he's still having a look into 15. Oh, there's almost a little bit of contact as we look on board from Lehman's perspective. But Napadovsky is up into 2nd place. As Leopard, he's already on the final lap of the race. 9 seconds in the lead. He has been absolutely impeccable this race. But Foton is on the tail of Napadovsky. He has 2 chances. One into turn 2 and the other in the 2nd DRS zone. Foton will go aggressive. Napadovsky will not defend. Napadovsky is going to look for the mover back down the back straight. Foton will reclaim 2nd position. However, Foton does not have any time penalties, and you informed me that Napadovsky does. Oh, also look at this. Mark, he's right on the back of Lehman, so the soft tires, the drivers have pitted way too early, and We've also got another time penalty in for Lehman. That is his third. So as things stand, he's automatically going to drop behind Mark, but Mark will not care about that. He'll want to pick up this position regardless. And we've seen Lehman is struggling with tyre wear towards the end of the race. We remember back to Monza, but two battles going on, one for second place between Napadovsky and Foton, and then Mark and Lehman. However, I feel due to time penalties, these battles have already been determined. Napadovsky on Foton, down the inside of 12 he will go, and now the outside of 14. Foton will try to keep it side by side, but I think Napadovsky's done it. Meanwhile, behind, Mark has picked up 4th place, still side by side between the Red Bull and Toro Rosso into 15 and 16, still side by side on the exit, but Napadovsky's going to have to slot in behind. Mark still keeping it side by side with Lehman, but he has the inner side for turn 17. He'll squeeze Lehman out wide, side by side across the line. Lehman across the line sideways. It doesn't matter, they've already crossed the line. Leonard will take 6th place. Final confirmation of your race results. Leopard picks up the win ahead of Foton and Napadovsky. Mark takes 4th after a great comeback on those soft tyres. Lehman takes 5th ahead of Leonard. Zone takes 7th ahead of Shad and Curly as Jake rounds out the top at 10. After 16 rounds, Foton still leads the Driver Championship standings, having extended his lead to Hyperz to 65 points, who is a further 55 points ahead of Napadovsky. Lehman climbs up to 4th ahead of Formula Danny as Mark also closes in to the Veloce Esports driver. Leopard, though, is the big move up to 7th place after just 3 races in ORL. He is just 1 point ahead of Matthias, who is a further 2 points ahead of Hayes, with Nameless just 4 points behind. We've then got a big battle for 11th place as Wow leads Hadler, Zones, Kopi, and then all tied on 33 points, Donoso, Stiv, and Soren. And actually Calcifer as well, with Crew 6 just 1 point behind. In the Constructors' Championship standings, Toro Rosso still lead, now over 50 points ahead of Mercedes, with Red Bull just 15 points behind. So more strong results from Napadovsky could see them jumping up to 2nd place. Williams don't count them out of the battle for 2nd place, as Lehman and Matthias are doing bits for the team. They're less than 40 points behind Red Bull, with Ferrari just a further 20 points behind. McLaren also climbing up the table. They're up into 7th place, courtesy of Leopard's strong results. Okay, Leopard. Right. I don't know where to start with this one, because medium tyres, you made it work so well in the first few laps, and then the soft tyres came on, and I think you caught up about 2 seconds on your first lap. It was nuts.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be getting that much on the softs. Yeah, I knew from practice that the drop off wasn't that much, and like the soft tire, well, no, sorry, the medium tire in race trim wasn't that much quicker than the soft tire, because sometimes you can see like the harder tire because track evolution, lighter fuel. You can see the harder tire, you know, being the quicker tire, or you know what you say, fastest laps on a normal strategy, but it wasn't that much quicker. And obviously with the wet quality, free tire choice, starting 4th, I just decided to start on the mediums and see how the pace would be, and I managed to stay in DRS for 3, 4, 5 laps, I think, before I lost it to Foton.
Yeah.
But from then on, it was just keeping a fairly decent pace, because I wasn't expecting to be quicker than them on in the first stint. So yeah, then was just trying to churn out consistent laps, save fuel, save ERS, save tires, manage all that. And then when I strapped on the softs, it was yeah, a lot quicker than I expected. I didn't expect to be on them and past them that quickly. I was pretty happy with my move on Foton and Napadovsky, so I enjoyed that one. But yeah, from then on, it was just breaking DRS, get out of the 3 seconds, because I knew Foton didn't have a penalty compared to me, who did. So yeah, it was just breaking the 3-second barrier, which was fairly easy, and yeah, just control it from there.
Next race is at Japan. You're on, you seem to be on such strong form. Can you make it a 3rd win?
That's the aim. Whether I'll succeed is a very different question, but yeah, as always, I'll be trying to get the win. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and you are our driver of the day again. So
Again, get
yeah,
it.
we get to have another track video from you for Japan.
And you
Cool,
know
cool.
what? We before the race we talked about you climbing up the championship standings, and
Mhm.
if I did the math correctly, you're now in 7th place instead of 14th.
Well, that's what win does to you.
Right, but on that note, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you for Japan. Hyperz and Calcifer, you both joined us, and I mean, I guess it's a good thing because we get to hear both sides of the story. We missed the incident on stream. From our perspective, we had just, Hyperz and Calcifer, you were side by side. I think Hyperz had just got the move done, and then I'm guessing something happened into turn 15. Hyperz, do you want to give your view first?
I mean, I could, yeah. So I'm still quite mad about it because despite like Leopard finishing about 8 seconds ahead of Photon, and I only had four, I felt like on the mediums I was really confident. I had I think I had the pace to pull away even more. So surely a race win was achievable. But then yeah, I got to a Kosovo on the straight. I actually didn't expect him to fight, but he decided to fight on the straight, which was actually fine. We went side by side, but in the end, I took the position thanks to having the better grip in the tires, and just basically I got them moved around the outside. We exited the corner, and I was quite a bit ahead, but then going to that left-hander, not sure. It might be turn 15. I'm not really sure about the number. The one that goes uphill.
Oh, yeah, 15, 16, yeah.
Yeah, that's turn 15, 16. I basically was ahead, but I kept it in none, which let Kosovo close up a little bit. But he was still like behind me. He didn't pull to go alongside.
Yeah.
And under braking, I didn't expect him to try and make a move, but he made a quite aggressive move on the inside, and I didn't have time to react. And just basically he just dived on the inside, tapped my rear wheel, and we just spun around both. And well, after we spun and we were trying to get into the right direction, we also made contact, which cost me the throwing damage. Which at this point I thought that I was just so frustrated at this point that I decided to retire because basically if I didn't score good points here, I think the championship would be over anyways. And at this point, I was so mad that I decided to just go into the pits and retire because, yeah, was really frustrated because I felt like this was one of the best races I've driven so far this season. Got really good lap in qualifying. Race pace was also amazing. And then things like this happen. That just reminds me of Verstappen Ocon. But I don't know about the situation here. I guess I will leave stewards to decide that. From my point of view, it was kind of the whole fighting thing was a kind of a way to help, obviously, Foton, who's teammate of Calcifer. It might be just my opinion, but I'm still really frustrated because I feel like I was robbed of a race win or a potential P2 here.
I mean, your pace in qualifying did look absolutely insane. But going on to you, Calcifer, what's your side of the story?
He went alongside me, he was ahead, and into the braking zone. I thought I will try. He braked early for me. I went in to the inside. He closed the door. I had nowhere to go, and I spun him around.
I think we'll leave it at that then. I think, as Hyper said, we'll leave that one for the stewards to decide. Thank you, though, all of you, for taking your time to join us, and we hope to see all of you again at Japan, and best of luck for the race. Okay. On that note, then, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. This was round 16 at the Sochi Autodrome, the Russian GP. It was a Leopard who takes his second win from 3. Disaster for Hyperz as contact between him and Calcifer practically throws the championship out of the window. still within a mathematical chance, but it will be difficult. Don't forget to hit ORL up with a follow on Twitter. You can also follow myself and Maku as well. There'll be info coming out on the ORL Twitter about some Christmas events, Christmas races, maybe a Christmas championship as well. So stay tuned. But with that said and done, that's all we have time for. Thanks again for tuning in. Stay fast, and we'll see you again next week.
See you next week.